right now we are in, or the sun is activating gene key 53 in the 4th line. And a question for this gene key could be, what seeds are you sowing? What are your beginnings about? Here comes something completely different. So this is what's alive in Unlock Your Design right now. Tomorrow there is a free introduction with me and Addison on the Dark Goddess. These posts have been taken down on Facebook because they are a bit dark. So it's good that we have them here. I'll get the Zoom link for you to sign up for free. It's tomorrow at noon Miami, and we're going to speak about water as possible connection in relationships, but also that could stagnate and that can freeze. So emotions, gene key 28, what is the Dark Goddess, if you want to come tomorrow. And I have one more thing I'm going to tell you about. So this is today. For those of you that have signed up or want to sign up for the Pathway of Individuation Extended, that's where you have 6 masterclasses on all these spheres in the middle pillar that you can see here. So you're going to have a masterclass, and you're also going to have workbooks on all these spheres. So if you want to sign up today, there is a Q&A at 4 p.m. In 2 hours. Okay, so the initiator is in transit from July 7th to July 13th. So right now we are in the 4th day of that, more or less. This is the gate of beginnings. In the I Ching, we call this hexagram development. The frequency band in the gene keys go from the shadow of immaturity to the city of superabundance, and the human pathway is expansion. When we look at this hexagram in the I Ching, we see that it's in the part of the wheel that has the mountain trigram on the bottom. So that's a yang line and then 2 yin lines. Looks a bit like a mountain. And all these archetypes in this part of the wheel are going to have the mountain trigram on the bottom. So here we have gentle wind on top with mountain on the bottom. Gene key 57 is made up of 2 trigrams of wind. Gene key 52 is made up of 2 trigrams of mountain. So we could say that the 53 is containing the energy of the 57 and the 52. The shadow of immaturity is uneasy stress. The gift of expansion is intuitive restraint. The city of superabundance is the clarity of stillness. Here we're looking at astrology. We are in Cancer, in the part of the wheel where this archetype lives. Cancer is the life bringer, the nurturer, the caregiver. It is service to other through the caring waters of unconditional love. This is the first time in the wheel that we meet water, so cardinal water. Next time is the deep waters of Scorpio, and last time is the mutable waters of Pisces. Cancer is the surface of the waters that bathe in light and bring forth new life. So mother energy, nurturing energy, it is ruled by the moon. 4th house is connected to 4th sign of Cancer. We are in a part of the wheel still where purpose is fulfilled through form. This is the quarter of civilization. If you have one of those godheads, one of those gates as your life's work, you probably are more about tangible things that are in tangible form than about, for example, ideas. Looking at the root center, which is a pressure center and a motor. Here we have stress and adrenaline. Like I said before, this is the gate of beginnings. We have 9 fuels that live in the root center, all pointing out to different circuitry. So 9 different archetypes that are the fuels for different processes, to experiment, to experience, etc., 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 to mutate. And here we're looking at the whole channel. This is the channel of maturation, energy which fluctuates and initiates and pulsates. The theme, begin with intention. Commitment to an endeavor requires you to complete it. If you do not complete or learn the lesson, you will repeat it. So that's when you have both. If you only have the 53, it's focused on the beginnings. If you only have the 42, it's focused on the endings. If you have both in an electromagnetic channel with somebody, then it's the whole cyclical process. This is a generated channel because it is connecting to the sacral center. The keywords for the initiator: intensity, beginnings, and expansion. The keywords for the nomad: life and death, cycles, and Maya. When we look at the whole frequency band, the process for the whole channel, in the low frequency, we have expectations and immaturity. That becomes attachment. When we have expansion and detachment, that becomes evolution. And when we have super abundance and celebration, well, that's eternity. That's a nice spiral of eternity, right? Celebration and super abundant. I think those cycles, those spirals is something that seem a little cooler than if we look at the world. I don't know if it looks like that, but the city is just another perception of reality. Programming partners. So here we're looking at gate 53 in Cancer. And on the other side, we have gate 54 in Capricorn. If you have 53 in your activation sequence, in your incarnation cross, you're also going to have 54. If you have it in your nodes, you're also going to have the 54. And we also see that in the hexagram structure, those are perfect mirror opposites. Wherever the 53 has a yin line, the 54 has a yang line, and vice versa. And here we are looking at the circuitry. So we are in collective circuitry where the keynote is sharing. This time we are looking at the abstract circuitry or the sensing circuit, which is about looking back and discerning a pattern and making sense of it. When you are in the experience in any of these archetypes, you're not necessarily going to know why or how it makes sense. It's not until you look back at the experience that you know. So when you're in it, just feel it fully. People that have the 36, 35, right? It's in the transistoriness. You're like, I don't know why I'm supposed to experience this. Similar with the 30, 41. I don't know why I'm here. I just put on the seatbelt and I'll make sense of it later. This is part of that energy. This is a fuel for that process. And here, let's do one more thing. We're looking at Abaxis 3D. And we are seeing again, coming back to the hexagram structure, that we have wind over mountain. We can see that wind is connected to Virgo by the coloring that this astrologer that created Abaxis created. So wind is connected to Virgo energy, the 6th sign. And then mountain is connected to Libra, the 7th sign. And here is a depiction of this 53. And this is an activator card. So if you wanted to activate this energy of evolution, of maturation in yourself, you could use this little thing and meditate on that in the morning, for example. Let's go a little bit further. When we look at a hexagram, we always have hidden trigrams within it. So if we don't look at the top line, we're going to have one here that is fire, and we're going to have one here that is water. This is fire and this is water. And based on that, we're going to have a recommendation and also a way of doing it when it comes to this hexagram. So the verb here is to mature. And that kind of is cool, right? When we have immaturity as the shadow frequency, well, what we do in this hexagram is to mature, to evolve. Why do we do that? Well, we do that to develop gradually. If you have the 53, you're not going to, in a snap of fingers, just suddenly be super mature and have everything, all the beginnings under control. No, it's to develop gradually. And then the recommendation is to look for the light. And I'm just going to give you a little hint here. This is Scorpio energy, the water energy, and that's investigative. So that's to look for. And then here we have fire energy, which is connected to Gemini, and that is light, right? Look for the light is the hidden trigrams within this hexagram. So here's a whole new world that we could continue to explore a whole call. But I really just want you to see how much is in the I Ching. And that's actually where we need to bow and honor, because both human design and gene keys come from the wisdom of the Book of Changes and the I Ching. So just to remind you, tomorrow there is a free webinar that I'm doing with Alison on the Dark Goddess. We are going to dive into water, the Scorpio energy. Jinky 28 is going to be very present. We're going to speak about Sedna, which is in Gemini right now. And Sedna her story is sad, but there is also a possible reclamation when we speak about the dark goddesses. This is for both men and women. We're using the asteroids, we're looking at mythology, and we're reclaiming those parts of ourselves that might have been pushed away because they are too disagreeable or too taboo or too ruthless. So reclaiming those parts. We're starting with a free webinar tomorrow, and then there are going to be 3 times where we meet with Lilith, with Pandora, and with Kali. I know that we have people in the inner circle that signed up for this. We're still a small group. It's going to be workshop format. So you're going to have lots of possibility to look at this yourself. Will help you also to make sure that you are able to know what gene key do you have Lilith in, what gene key do you have Pandora in, what gene key do you have Kali in, on both design and personality side. And then later today, we do the Path of Individuation Q&A. For this, you would need to be signed up for the extended version with all the masterclasses on the spheres in the middle pillar of the hologenic profile. There is also a journey, an immersion on Tuesday starting next week, where we're going to have a call, a workshop on each one of purpose, attraction, Saturn design, Venus design, Pearl, which is Jupiter personality, and then brand, which is your sun sign. So that is also possible if you sign up before tomorrow, I believe. You also get 3 archetype courses, so you can choose which one of these spheres that you would like the archetype course on. That's also a very small group so far. So if you want to do that, I'll put later on as well the links, or you can just contact me. This is what we're speaking about today. I'm just going to bring up the transits so we can look at them together. So here in the 4th line right now, we are soon going to have, I think it's probably next Monday or something, we're going to have the conjunction here in Taurus between Mars and Uranus. Also, I believe that the asteroid Algol is there, which is connected to alcohol. So there can be some crazy, unexpected things this week. Be a little bit careful with what you drink this week. I would definitely say that. And also what spirits you invite in. This can be sudden, expected change. And as we know, speaking about immaturity, Mars can be immature. So that's something to watch out for, the energy kind of building up this week. We have Mercury in Leo, with a lot of that kind of fire energy. This is a really good time to be productive. We're going to have, in a little less than a month, I believe, Mercury goes retrograde. So use this month to get things done. I just came back to the States. I've been in Mexico for 2.5 weeks. And I felt that energy. Okay, it's time to get on with things so that when I go to Sweden later this summer, a lot of things are already where they should be. We also have with the South Node in 48 and with the 16 in Jupiter, this is an energy as well to look at patterns, to improve things, to be able to go wide and to go deep. So this is also helping us with the things that we need to do in a logical sense right now. This is part of the logical circuitry. I also think that having coming out of the 39 last week and the energy of liberation, it's also a really good time to continue to see where are you not free and to lean into those parts that can be numb, where there's not enough breath, so that you're able to use the forward moving energy. We start to have more planets retrograde, and with Mercury, again, it's going to feel a little less kind of forward moving. So use the energy for that right now.